How are you, Jack?
Great, great.
Jack, I guess I'll get us started. Cameron with the Courier Journal. I'm just curious. Seems like the offensive line really the last 3 or 4 games has really stepped up. He's ran over 200 yards the last 3 games, 300 yards last week. Just is it as simple as everybody being healthy, or is there something more going on with the offensive line that you guys are clicking a little bit better? You think?
I think part of it is we're starting to get the outside zone rolling, and that's a funny play, boy. Sometimes it takes a long time to really get it clicking, and when you can, it can be a dangerous play. So I think, and it takes everybody. It takes the running backs, takes the tight end, takes the O-line, but I really feel like that's been part of it to help us with the run game for sure. And, let's face it, we had a couple heartbreaking losses there 2 weeks in a row, and you kind of have a choice. You either, go backwards and feel sorry for yourself, or you get mad. And I think our guys kind of got mad and kind of have a chip on their shoulder, and they were no way in the heck were they going to lose to BC at home for sure.
Hey, Coach Michael McCammon, Cardinal Authority. Caleb honored by the league yesterday. Can you talk about, I guess, maybe go a little bit more in depth on what you thought, how his performance was in the last game?
I thought his performance was great. He's probably been our most consistent guy throughout the year, and really just a guy that is totally bought in and works extremely hard. Working hard on the little details of things. And if you ever get a chance to really watch him in that game, you're going to see him finishing people, playing extremely tough, and he really did a great job. He didn't give up any sacks. Did a great job in the run game, but more than anything, it was just how he finished people and the intensity with which he was playing really stood out to me.
Hey, Coach, Matt McGavick with Sports Illustrated. NC State, their defense, they've got a lot of guys that are banged up and hurt, but they still have a pretty solid defense overall. When you watch them on film, what's something that kind of stands out the most to you?
Yeah, I mean, they got good players. Everybody's got a banged up defense, right now, banged up team at this point in the season. So, they're still very, very good. I mean, I know they lost number one, a great player. I feel bad for him, but they've got some great players. And the thing that they do is they play a little bit of a different scheme, but they pressure a lot, which, kind of puts the pressure on the offense to be able to pick that up and to be able to, keep the quarterback upright, basically, so we got a big challenge ahead of us. I know they're number one in total defense in the league. So I think they're only giving up like 17 points a game or whatever it is. I don't really always know the stats, but I know what I can see on film, and they're an excellent defense, and it's going to be a huge challenge for us going down to their place. So, I mean, that's what you live for when you play at this level and coach at this level, to be able to get in games like this. So we're excited for it. Anything else?
Yeah, Jack.
Yes, sir.
You mentioned Caleb, and then you guys have had such a deep rotation on up front and off the line. Just what have you seen? How much have you seen Michael Gonzalez grow? I know he's banged up early, but he's been playing a lot for you guys.
Yeah, he's a great player. For a true freshman to come in and do what he's done is amazing, really. The thing about Mike is you better tell him the right things, because whatever you tell him, he's going to go out there and do it exactly like you said it. So, and you really appreciate that as a coach, because, I mean, let's face it, I've been doing this a long time. I don't know much, but I know what I want with the offensive line, and he'll go out and do it exactly what you tell him. And that's what makes him so good at such a young age, and he'll just get better and better. And, he was banged up, but, kind of like I told you guys earlier, I feel like we have 7 starters right now. I would put Luke Kendra in the game and not lose any sleep either. So we are pretty deep in that situation. Now, you can get thin in a hurry when you get a couple guys out like we had, but when we're healthy, I feel like we've been rotating those 7 guys, it keeps them fresh, and it gets us to play harder, I think, because, a couple times Renato will say, "Coach, can I get a series? He's winded or whatever." Yeah, sure. We'll put Mike in at right tackle. And then, so keeping that rotation going keeps them fresh. And, I mean, let's face it, the D-line's doing that every series. So it's great for the O-line to be able to do that too.
Hey, Coach, you
this is
mentioned
Gary.
earlier. Go ahead, Gary. I'm sorry.
Awesome. Okay. Yeah, Coach. This is Gary Graves from the AP. Uh,
Yeah.
when you look at the film, what did you appreciate about what the line did on Malik's option play that that they got that big gain in terms of how they set that up?
Yeah, down by the goal line you're talking about, where
I
I'm not
think
really sure.
more near midfield where he
Yeah,
did
okay, yeah,
did the
yeah, yeah.
option toss. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they did a great job with it. I know Renato did a great job on that one. You can watch him. He really finished his guy. Did a great job getting off to the linebacker and then sticking with him. But that's just indicative. One play. As the offensive line, if you really strain and you really fight to finish guys, obviously you need that use precise technique. But the thing that makes a great offensive line is when they start getting the attitude that we're the bullies out there, that we're going to go out there and we're going to show people, what we're all about. And I felt like that's what we did against Boston College. They were a good defensive front too. And, I watched them on tape and they had some very, very good players. But I felt like our guys went out there and really decided that, what, we're going to finish these guys. We're going to play hard and strain. And that's kind of what happened on that play. And on some other plays, I thought you were talking about the one Malik took it down to the goal line and Trevor Reed had his guy and they both went flying out of bounds right at the goal line, maybe 25 yards away from the play. So, there was a lot of that on the film. We already mentioned Caleb doing a lot, but there were other guys that did it. And when you start getting an offensive line, you start feeding off of that. And that's when they really can start to become a unit because, with the offensive line, there isn't just one guy. I mean, obviously Caleb, great honor, and he's proud of it, and we're proud of him. But, that's an honor for the whole offensive line because all five of those guys have to be playing at a high level to be a good offensive line.
And Coach, you mentioned a minute ago that you think the guys got a little mad after those two close losses. Could you sense something different maybe in film study, in the position room or on the practice fields with their attitude coming up to the Boston College game and continuing now?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say as much until the game. I sensed something different during the game. I mean, if you really look at that game closely, those guys were playing hard, man. And I think, practice is one tempo, and I think they always come to work. I never have much of a problem with them in practice, but it's a totally different tempo than what happens on Saturday. You know what I mean? And so a lot of times you're not going to notice it. But man, I'm not the big hype guy, and we're pretty. I don't think you'd be able to tell it during the week, I guess is what I'm saying. But I'll tell you what, on Saturday, I could tell that these guys were mad. And, they've been great all year. Sometimes you get teams, offensive lines going up and down. Our guys just keep playing. But I felt like as a group, they were really determined and mad. And it just showed how they played on the film.
Hey, Jack, this is Pat Jaggers from ESPN Louisville. Earlier, before the season started, you put a statement out there that, I'd say the first couple of weeks of the season, people were really, really critical on the offensive line. But ever since then, the UCF game, this unit has been essentially lights out. You said that this offensive line could be the best offensive line you've ever coached. How far off is this unit from, making that statement come to fruition?
Yeah, they're not far off. I mean, obviously, you get asked a question like that, you're not going to say, no, these guys have no chance, you know what I mean? But so, of course, then it gets kind of blown up or whatever. And I'm very proud of this group. I'll just say it that way. I've had some good offensive lines, but probably from top to bottom, all five guys together as a unit, I'd say if it's not the best, it's certainly, top two or whatever, because they all care. And, like I said, it's such a unique position because it doesn't matter if one guy's doing good. Like four guys can't do good and one guy does lousy. The whole group's going to be bad. So, again, it's hard to quantify. I mean, when I was at BC, I had 2 first-round picks at tackle, but we weren't as good at center guard. So, but they are definitely up there. I'm real proud of them. But again, who cares about last week? We got to go prove it every week. So these are things in my mind you kind of talk about at the end of the year and you say, okay, where are we at? I mean, right now we're in the thick of the fight and we're just trying to, I think we are improving. But we need to keep bringing it every week for sure.
All right, Coach. Thanks.
Very good. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Appreciate that.